The Mining Colony Massacre. The twin suns of Kepler 442b painted the morning sky in shades of gold and amber as Commander Sarah Chen walked through the bustling streets of New Horizon Colony. 20 years had passed since the first human settlers arrived on this distant world, and what started as a small mining outpost had grown into a thriving community of 15,000 souls. Children laughed as they ran between the prefabricated buildings, their parents heading to work in the massive titanium extraction facilities that had made this colony one of the most prosperous in human space. Sarah paused at the central plaza, watching families gather for the weekly community breakfast. Old Mrs. Patterson was serving her famous synthetic pancakes to a line of eager colonists, while the Chen twins played zero-gravity ball in the low-G recreation area. This was home. This was what humanity had built among the stars through sweat, determination, and an unbreakable spirit of cooperation. Dr. Marcus Webb approached from the medical center, his usually cheerful demeanor replaced by concern. "Sarah, we need to talk," he said, glancing around nervously. The long-range sensors picked up something unusual, multiple ships approaching from the outer system. Sarah's hand instinctively moved to her sidearm. As the colony's defense commander, she had trained for this possibility, though in 20 years they had never encountered hostile alien life. "How many ships, Marcus?" 17 confirmed contacts. "They're massive, Sarah. Each one is at least 3 times larger than our biggest transport vessel." Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead despite the cool morning air. "They'll be here within 6 hours. Captain Zara Thompson joined them, her mining coveralls still dusty from the morning shift. "I heard the alert sirens. What's the situation?" Zara had been on Kepler 442b since the second wave of colonists arrived, and her practical nature had helped the colony survive numerous challenges over the years. "Unknown alien vessels approaching," Sarah replied. "We need to prepare for first contact protocols. Zara, can you coordinate the civilian evacuation procedures, just as a precaution?" "Already on it," Zara nodded. "Though where exactly are we supposed to evacuate to? The nearest human outpost is 4 light-years away, and we don't have enough transport capacity for everyone." Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with the morning breeze. The colony's isolation, which had protected them from interference, now made them vulnerable. "Let's hope we're dealing with peaceful explorers." 4 hours later, the alien fleet hung in orbit like dark thunderclouds against the star-filled void. Each ship bore the angular, aggressive design of a military vessel, their hulls reflecting no light as if they absorbed the very photons that touched them. Communications arrays across the colony picked up the first transmission in flawless human English. "Primitive human settlement. This is Admiral Vexthul of the Stellar Dominion Empire. You are trespassing in territory claimed by our glorious civilization. You have 1 planetary rotation to evacuate this world completely. Any resistance will be met with immediate termination." Sarah stood in the colony's command center, surrounded by the leaders who had helped build New Horizon from nothing. The message had been broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring every colonist heard the ultimatum. Outside, she could see families huddled together, parents holding their children close while looking up at the alien ships that blotted out portions of the sky. "One day to abandon everything we've built?" Zara's voice carried the anger that Sarah felt in her own heart. 20 years of our lives, and they want us to just walk away? Dr. Webb pulled up holographic displays showing the colony's infrastructure. "The medical facilities alone represent decades of research. We've developed treatments for 17 different off-world diseases here. The agricultural centers feed not just our colony, but 3 other human settlements. We can't just abandon this." Sarah activated the colony's main communication array. Her voice would reach every home, every workplace, every corner of their community. "Citizens of New Horizon, this is Commander Chen. We face a choice that will define not just our future, but who we are as human beings. We can abandon our home and everything we've built, or we can stand together and show these aliens what humanity represents." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Across the colony, lights began appearing in windows as families made their decision. The agricultural workers emerged from the growing domes. The miners climbed up from the deep extraction sites. The teachers brought their students out of the schools. They gathered in the central plaza, 15,000 strong, and their message was clear without a single word being spoken. Sarah opened the communication channel to the alien fleet. Admiral Vexthul, this is Commander Sarah Chen of New Horizon Colony. We reject your ultimatum. This world is our home, built through 2 decades of human labor, ingenuity, and sacrifice. We will not abandon it. The response came within minutes, and Admiral Vexthul's voice carried a coldness that made the planet's twin suns seem dim. Your species lacks wisdom, human. The stellar dominion has conquered 47 star systems. Countless civilizations have learned to submit to our superior power. You will serve as an example to any others who consider resistance. What followed would be remembered as the darkest hour in human history. The alien ships opened fire without warning, without mercy, without the slightest regard for the innocent lives below. Energy beams lanced down from orbit, vaporizing entire city blocks in seconds. The mining facilities exploded in chains of brilliant destruction. The agricultural domes burst like soap bubbles, releasing their precious atmosphere into the uncaring. Sarah ran through streets that had become a hellscape of fire and screaming. She pulled survivors from collapsed buildings, directed evacuation efforts to the few remaining shuttles, and fought to save whoever she could. Dr. Webb died helping evacuate the children from the primary school, his body shielding 3 youngsters from falling debris. Captain Zara Thompson was last seen leading a group of miners toward the emergency shelters, shouting encouragement, even as the world burned around them. In the end, Sarah found herself alone in a damaged emergency shuttle, the colony's main computer, core clutched in her arms. Below her, New Horizon Colony was gone. 15,000 people who had trusted her leadership, who had chosen to stand with humanity rather than submit, had paid the ultimate price. The beautiful world that had been their home was now a scarred wasteland of glass and ash. The shuttle's damaged engines struggled to achieve orbit, alarms blaring as systems failed one by one. Sarah activated the emergency beacon and began recording what might be humanity's final message about the stellar Dominion Empire. Her voice was steady despite the tears streaming down her face. This is Commander Sarah Chen, sole survivor of New Horizon Colony. The alien force that calls itself the Stellar Dominion has committed genocide against 15,000 innocent human civilians. They offered no quarter, showed no mercy, and demonstrated that they view human life as worthless. To anyone receiving this message, remember what happened here. Remember that we stood together. Remember that we chose dignity over submission. And remember that this cannot go unanswered. As her shuttle limped toward the edge of the system, Sarah looked back one final time at the world that had been humanity's proud achievement among the stars. The Stellar Dominion had won their victory, but they had also made a terrible mistake. They had shown humanity exactly what kind of enemy they faced, and they had proven that coexistence was impossible. The message beacon activated, sending its signal racing toward Earth at faster than light speeds. Admiral Vexthul watched the tiny human vessel disappear into hyperspace and dismissed it as irrelevant. One survivor could not threaten the might of the Stellar Dominion Empire. The human species would learn to submit, just as all the others had. He could not have been more wrong. Humanity's wrath. Unleashed Admiral James Harrison stood before the assembled representatives of the Human Colonial Alliance, his weathered face grim as he finished reading Commander Chen's report. The Great Hall of Earth's Defense Command had never been so silent. 200 delegates from across human space sat in stunned quiet, processing the magnitude of what they had just heard. 15,000 civilians murdered without provocation, an entire colony wiped from existence as a demonstration of alien superiority. President Elena Rodriguez rose from her seat, her voice carrying across the chamber with steel-edged determination. The Stellar Dominion Empire has declared war on humanity through their actions. They have shown us that they consider human life worthless, human achievements meaningless, and human dignity irrelevant. We will show them the cost of that mistake. Commander Sarah Chen sat at the advisory table, her survivor's account having reached Earth 3 days earlier. The journey home had taken 2 weeks in her damaged shuttle. 2 weeks to think about. The friends and colleagues who had died believing that their sacrifice meant something. Now, surrounded by the combined might of human civilization, she finally allowed herself to hope that their deaths would be avenged. Admiral Harrison activated the holographic display showing human space in its entirety. 43 colonies, 7 major shipyards, and the combined military forces of Earth's most successful species spread across the galaxy. The Dominion controls 47 star systems, according to their own broadcasts. They have superior numbers and established infrastructure, but they've also made a critical error in judgment. The display shifted to show tactical analyses prepared by the Defense Command's best strategists. They assume we'll respond like their previous conquests. They expect us to negotiate, to submit, to accept their dominance in exchange for survival. Instead, we're going to do something they've never encountered in their thousands of years of expansion. President Rodriguez stepped forward, her words carrying the weight of humanity's collective rage. We're going to hunt them down and destroy them completely. Every ship, every base, every world that serves their empire. We will show them what happens when you commit genocide against human beings. The first strikes came without warning. Human fleets, moving under complete communication silence, hit 12 Dominion outposts simultaneously. The aliens' rigid military protocols, perfected through millennia of conquest, proved utterly inadequate against human tactical flexibility. Where Dominion commanders expected formal battle lines and predictable strategies, they found guerrilla warfare, psychological operations, and innovations that their computer models couldn't process. Captain Lisa Park led the assault on Dominion. Station Helix 7, a major supply depot that supported their expansion into human space. Her battle group consisted of just 6 ships against the station's defensive fleet of 20 vessels. But human engineers had spent the past month analyzing every piece of Dominion technology they could acquire. They had found weaknesses. Target their communication arrays first, Lisa ordered as her ships dropped out of hyperspace. Cut them off from their command structure. Human missiles, modified with adaptive AI targeting systems, swarmed over the Dominion ships like angry wasps. The aliens' energy shields, designed to deflect conventional weapons, proved vulnerable to the constantly evolving attack patterns that human technology employed. Within an hour, Station Helix 7 was destroyed and its defensive fleet eliminated. But more importantly, human forces had captured intact Dominion vessels and their terrified crews. The interrogations that followed revealed critical intelligence about the Empire's command structure, supply lines, and most importantly, the location of their capital world. Admiral Harrison reviewed the intelligence reports in his private office, Commander Chen seated across from his desk. The survivor of New Horizon Colony had become his most trusted advisor, her first-hand experience with Dominion tactics proving invaluable in planning humanity's campaign of revenge. They're not adapting, Sarah observed, studying the tactical summaries. Every engagement follows the same pattern. They send overwhelming force, expect immediate surrender, and when that doesn't happen, they resort to orbital bombardment. It's worked for them for thousands of years, but it's completely predictable. Their arrogance is our advantage, Harrison agreed. They can't conceive of a species that refuses to submit. Every defeat we inflict challenges their fundamental worldview. He activated his secure communication system. It's time for the next phase. The message that reached Emperor Krixtal of the Stellar Dominion Empire was unlike anything in the long history of his reign. It came on all frequencies, broadcast simultaneously to every world under Dominion control, ensuring that every citizen of the Empire would hear humanity's ultimatum. I am Admiral James Harrison of the Human Colonial Alliance. Your forces murdered 15,000 innocent civilians on New Horizon Colony. You declared that humanity would serve as an example to others who might resist your empire. Today, we deliver our response to that declaration. The holographic display showed the burning wreckage of 17 Dominion military installations, their destruction broadcast in real time across the galaxy. We have eliminated 43% of your military infrastructure in the border regions. We have captured or destroyed 78 of your warships. We have liberated 6 worlds from your control, and their populations have joined our alliance willingly. Emperor Krixtal watched from his throne chamber as the human admiral continued speaking. Around him, his military advisors shifted nervously, their confidence in Dominion superiority badly shaken by the past month's defeats. "You have one choice remaining," Harrison's voice echoed through the chamber. "Immediate and complete withdrawal from all star systems containing human colonies, full reparations for the genocide committed at New Horizon, and the surrender of Admiral Vexthal for trial as a war criminal. You have 72 hours to comply." The Emperor's rage was magnificent to behold. He had ruled the stellar dominion for 3 centuries, had overseen the conquest of a dozen species, had never once been challenged by an inferior civilization. "Impossible. We are the masters of this galaxy. We will not negotiate with primitives." But his advisors were no longer listening to his proclamations of superiority. They were studying the tactical reports, analyzing the human battle strategies, and reaching an uncomfortable conclusion. Humanity was not just winning individual battles. They were systematically dismantling the Empire's ability to wage war. The final confrontation came at Dominion Prime, the Empire's capital world, and the seat of their power for over 2 millennia. Human fleets emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their ships bearing the scars of a dozen battles but flying the colors of free humanity with pride. Admiral Harrison's flagship, the UHS Vengeance, led the assault while Commander Chen observed from the bridge. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the surface," the communications officer reported. "It's Emperor Krixtal himself." The alien ruler appeared on the main screen, his once proud bearing now broken by the reality of his empire's collapse. "Human Admiral, I request terms for surrender. Surely your species understands mercy." Sarah Chen stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of 15,000 murdered colonists. "You offered no mercy to the children of New Horizon Colony. You showed no compassion to the families who built their lives among the stars. Why should humanity show you what you denied to our people?" The Emperor's desperation was complete. "We will withdraw from all human systems. We will pay reparations. We will surrender our military technology. Please do not destroy our civilization." Admiral Harrison studied the alien leader who had ordered the genocide of innocent humans. "The Stellar Dominion Empire ends today. Your species will be allowed to survive on your homeworlds, but your age of conquest is over. Admiral Vexthal will face trial for war crimes. Your military will be disbanded, and the galaxy will know that humanity protects those who cannot protect themselves." As Dominion forces surrendered across their former empire, liberated species emerged from centuries of oppression to join the growing human alliance. The lesson of New Horizon Colony had been learned, but not by humanity. It had been learned by every would-be conqueror in the galaxy. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the Vengeance, watching as the last Dominion warships powered down their weapons. The friends she had lost would never see this moment, but their sacrifice had ignited something unprecedented in galactic history. Humanity had not just survived first contact with a hostile alien empire. They had emerged as the protectors of freedom among the stars. The age of human expansion was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same.